Wednesdays here on the program, we like to put the spotlight on the farm women's group, Common Ground.
Common Ground is a group of farm women who want to be a resource for consumers who want to know more about how their food is grown. So joining us today is Leslie Boswell from the Shickley area. Always good to see you. I know we already talked in the bathroom this morning, didn't we?
We did. We had a nice conversation there.
That's where all the conversations really happen.
A lot of
all the news gets told there.
Yeah, right. The news.
Yeah,
right. All right. Leslie, today we want to talk a little bit about no-till November, right?
Right.
Okay, and why no-till is good for our land.
Well, it's kind of a takeoff on the cancer awareness when they had the No Shave November. And so there's the NRCS, Natural Resources Conservation Services, decided to try a campaign called No-Till November. And what they're trying to do is encourage farmers to do no-till on their farm, which means when you're done harvesting, some guys will go out and shred their stock, some will disc it up. We're trying to get away from that. On our farm, we've been no-till for a number of years, so we just let the stock stand. They catch the snow in the wintertime, they catch any dirt that might be blowing off. It doesn't turn up the soil and lose the moisture, but it puts that nutrient back in there from that organic matter for the next year when you go back in and plant. So there's so many good things that can be done with this. When you're putting that organic matter back into the soil, you're also saving any nitrogen that might have been in that stock. You're putting in enough of that organic matter that it helps loosen up the soil if it's too tight so that it can take in the water. It can take in the nutrients better. The seeds have a better seed bed the next year, and so you have to do less preparation work the next year. So there's a lot of advantages to going to a no-till system like we have.
And I always wonder, why do farmers maybe not do no-till? It does seem like a great advantage, but why do some people maybe choose not to do it or just haven't done it yet?
There's a few reasons for that. One of them is because Grandpa did it, Dad did it, that's what I'm going to do. And that was going back into when they did disc, they did plow, they did a lot of field work. Some guys, farmers are stubborn. And it takes a little while for them to move into different thoughts on how they're going to take care of their ground. Other times, though, it depends on the soil, because there are some soils that need to be turned every once in a while, because if it's a heavy clay, it gets very compacted, and we're going to have compaction problems next year because of how wet the harvest was this year. But you need to get that clay broke up so that the water can actually go through it. Otherwise, it'll set up like cement. And they get what they call a hard pan, which is down a couple of feet or maybe not even that much. And it gets very compacted, and it's a very hard layer that water and roots will not go through. So sometimes that does need to be broke up.
Okay.
And I know now as we're approaching winter, it's good to have that no-till going on too.
Absolutely.
To hold the snow.
Around our house, where we're out in the middle of the country, if we've got cornfields along our road on the north side, our roads don't blow shut when it snows. If we've got bean fields next to us, the bean fields are cut shorter. There isn't near as much stubble, and there's not as much to catch the snow, and we'll blow shut every time.
Right.
So it makes a huge difference. It's a very visual effect of what the stubble can do for you.
I know it's something my dad always used to do, and we're going back to some of those old practices.
Yeah, starting to go back to some of the things that used to work.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you, Leslie. And you're sticking around with a recipe that's good for Thanksgiving, right?
Absolutely.
It's a good one,
I like
too.
that.
You got to have stuffing,
Yes,
right?
you do.
All right.
That's right. Thank you.